Hey guys. So guys, now the next question is basically like how do you access these methods? Okay, like basically how on earth do I like access like when the component has mounted? Okay. I want to do something when the component is mounted. How do you do that? When I'm updating something, like I want to do something after that as well. So how do I do those stuff? Okay. And basically when the component unmounts, I want to still do something. Okay. So how do I do these type of stuff? Okay, like basically how do I do them? Okay, so let's just jump to some online editor. Okay, guys, don't like I don't prefer online editors that way, but yeah, for the sake of simplicity and like getting started quickly, we'll do it. But you guys don't use online editors, yeah, because like you can always run into weird errors. Yeah, guys. So let's quickly open a sandbox and let's quickly remove the unnecessary code. Okay. Okay. So now a simple app is what we have right now. Okay. And now let's just see, like basically what I'll do now. I would try to like basically what I'll essentially do is like basically I'll have a count. Okay. Count counter component. Okay. There's a counting thing, normal counting thing. Okay. And I'll basically add the same component somewhere else. Let's just add it over here, new file. Yeah, and I call it counter.js. Okay, so now what essentially I'll do is I would do import React from React, import uh, React from React. Yeah, and I will do const counter is equal to, yeah. Okay, and basically this is a counter function which I'm building. Okay, return something. Okay, and what I'll essentially do is export this counter. Okay, export counter. Okay, I'll do a default export default because why not export default counter, because that's the only thing which I'm exporting, so I might as well do that. Okay, and I'm going to import it over here. Import counter from dot slash counter. Yeah. So now this is sorted. Okay. Now let me just write some code over here. So what I'll essentially do is I'll just keep it very simple. I'll just add a div element. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then I'll just add a counter. Okay. I'll just add count is equal to some value, like maybe some dollar count. Okay. Let's just quickly. Okay, sorry, I basically. Okay, dollar count is what I'm going to put. Okay, so I'm just and I'm going to define. So, guys, I hope you guys understand when to use state and when to not use state. In this case, we'll have to use state because, like, essentially, what I essentially want, right? Like, is I'll just tell you what I essentially want. Just quickly, I'll tell you. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll keep a button over here. Okay, I'll keep a button. Okay, and like okay, simple button which if you click on, I want to just the value to increment. Okay, the value should increment. Okay, so yeah, this is the button. Okay, so now straightforward, right? Like, so I want the button, like right now the button would not work even though I'm clicking it, nothing is happening. So what I'll essentially do is I'll put a non-click over here. Okay, okay, and basically what I'll do is like uh, I'll just simply put I'll okay, before I go get to that, okay, let's just talk about first the fact, like when the component mounts. Okay, so so there is a button right now. Okay, it doesn't work, but it's fine. Okay, we'll get to like how it works and stuff. Okay, before that, like what I essentially do now, guys, uh, I'll show you the mounting phase. Okay, like how does the mounting phase normally work? Okay, so basically, if you go to any component, okay, let's take the counter component. Okay, so what I'll essentially do is I'll put a console log over here inside the render method. Okay, and what I'll essentially do is I'll say inside rendering counter counter component. Okay. Okay, so once like what we essentially want is once this component is rendered for the first time, I want to like just send. I just want to like print out that okay, like successfully rendered the component for the first time. Okay, maybe something like that. I want to print. Okay, so how do I do that? Okay, like I only want to do this once. Okay, like basically when I've successfully like rendered this component, I want to just console log. Okay, console log successfully rendered successfully mounted the counter component. Yeah, yeah. So guys, like look at this, okay? And you would have to put an array dependency. Okay, I'll talk to you about why do we have to put it. But yeah, essentially, if you look at this, if I refresh the page and if I open console, see rendering counter component, and then this got printed. Okay, so this is the hook for the mounting phase. Okay, like once the component is mounted, this like basically once the component has mounted, this use effect gets called. Okay, this use effect gets called automatically. Like if you remove this also, this it would get called automatically. Okay, the reason why we put this is very obvious. Is like because if there are any state updates, right? Like then again, this use effect would get called. Okay, because you understand, na, like whenever a state update happens, what happens? The component gets re-rendered. And once the component gets re-rendered, use effect gets called again. Okay. But if you put an array dependency, then this callback function would not be called. Okay. Because this array dependency would only change once. Okay. Like only when the value has changed, this would get called. Okay. So you basically this would get called once, and that's why like this we put this so that because the component kind of gets mounted once only, right? Like okay, so now guys, basically, I'll show you like why do we even need this. Okay, so now guys, like I what I'll essentially do now, I'll add a like a simple on click. Okay, let's add a simple on click. Okay, okay, and let's call a function called increment counter. Okay, and I'll quickly define it over here. Const increment counter is equal to okay, and what I'm going to do set count to count count plus one. I'll do okay, not do count plus plus. Okay, let's do count plus one. Yeah, yeah. And now see like now this would be very clear. Okay, why I put an array because see if I don't put an array, okay, look at what would happen. Okay, so now rendering counter component successfully mounted. Okay, now I'll click on increment. Again, this thing got called. Okay, again this use effect got called again. Okay, so that is the problem. Okay, because whenever I'm going to change the state, re-rendering is going to happen, and once re-rendering happens, you know that the use effect would get called. So this would get called again and again. Okay, like see, it's getting called again and again. Look at this. So if I delete this also, it's getting called again. So I don't want that, right? So what I essentially do, I would basically put a this thing. I'll put a array bracket. Okay. So now, basically, if I refresh the screen, okay, yeah. Once again, let me refresh it again. Yeah, so now successfully mounted, and now if I increment, nothing is happening. See, if I look at the error, this thing, rendering only is getting called. Okay, nothing else. Okay, this console log is not getting called. Okay, so that's the beauty of this. Okay, but now guys, say like every time it updates. Okay, like basically every time it updates. Okay, I want to do something. Okay, like basically I want to do something random. Okay, basically like something uh like I want to like maybe print something like use of I just want to like maybe print successfully updated. Okay, so counter value increase or something like that. Okay, just want to console log that. Okay, so how do I do that? Like I would put a updating successfully updated the term. I want to call this. Okay, like basically whatever you want to do, you can do it over here. Okay. So now, if basically now this is your update phase. Okay, like this would be a, like whenever an update happens, it would come over here. So this is where you can catch that update phase. Okay. So basically, yeah, once the re-rendering happens, okay, if you click on increment, see now successfully updated the DOM also gets printed. Okay, so this is the update lifecycle moreover. Okay, like basically whenever you're incrementing, this re-rendering is happening, and with once whenever re-rendering happens, use effect gets called automatic. Yeah, guys. So this re-rendering is happening. Okay, again and again, and yeah, this is the update phase. So if you want to do anything over here, you can do. Okay. Now coming to the next phase. Okay, like basically, the phase of say like unmounting. Okay, so like unmounting the component. Okay, so let's try to replicate that. Okay, okay. Basically, what I'll do now, I would basically have a button over here. Okay, and this button, what it does is like based on its value, uh, like like it would either show counter or not show counter. Okay, like basically, like say we can call it remove counter. Okay, okay, and yeah. So like basically, whenever I click on this button, right now it's not working, but whenever I click on this button, this counter should get removed. Okay, so that's how it should be. Okay, so now how do I go about that? So basically what I'll do is I'll again take a state. Okay, const, because uh like yeah, because obviously like I want to like manipulate, like whenever I update the state I want a re-rendering to happen. So I'll just say show counter. Okay, and like set show counter. Okay, basically, and the initial value of show counter would be true, right? It would be true. Okay, and what I'll essentially do over here is based on the value of show counter, I would basically like show counter, or no, I'll not show counter. Okay, okay. So now let's what I okay. So right now, like this is showing right now. So if the value is true, it will show it. If the value is false, it will not show. See, now it's not showing. Okay. But yeah, let's try to write the code because remove counter doesn't work right now. So what I want to do essentially do is when I click on remove counter, basically then like basically then okay, this should get removed. Okay, so on click remove counter, something like that. Okay, remove counter. Okay, and what I essentially do is const remove counter is equal to uh like let's set show counter to false. Okay, okay, what did happen? Okay, this is a dot extra on remove counter. uh, oh, forgot to put in a fat arrow. Yeah, now it's sorted. Okay, so now guys, see, look at this magic. Okay, when I click on remove counter, this counter gets removed. Yeah, you saw that, right? Like when I click on this remove counter, now this value is changing, so this would basically get removed. Okay, now see guys, now see, like we've already seen this, like whenever the component loads. Okay, like basically, yeah. Now I'll just show you the magic. Moreover, okay, okay, basically, you've seen that the now. Let's go to the counter and let's remove a few this thing. Okay. Let's go to the counter. Hmm? And let's remove this update phase moreover right now because we are not updating anything. Okay. And like right now, if you look at it, okay, if I refresh the page, so what is happening? Rendering the counter component has gotten loaded because it's kind of automatically called over here because show counter is initially true, right? Initially true. And then it kind of gets successfully mounted. Okay. Now what happens is like when I click on remove counter, let's just think I want to basically show an alert. Show an some alert, okay? That like okay, whenever you're unmounting, right? Like basically, I want to show an alert that do you really want to unmount before just before that? So how will I do that? Okay. Well, one way to do it is basically through this, okay, like through like putting a alert over here, okay, putting an alert over here when you remove the counter, but let's not do it over there. Okay, let's just put try to put it inside the component itself. Okay, so that like the component is not dependent on the parent to handle it. Okay, so basically whenever this counter component is unloading, I want to just show an alert that the counter component would be unloaded. Okay, something like that. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just write a return statement. Okay, and in return statement you just have to pass a callback. Okay, and you can pass an alert stating like counter, yeah, counter component is unloaded. Okay, counter component unloaded. Okay. Okay. So now look at this. Okay. Now ignore the alerts which were coming because that was coming because of this online editors. So that's why I always tell don't use online editors. Yeah. So now look at this magic. Okay. Like right now I'll refresh the screen. Okay. Forget about that. I'll tell you why that happened. But yeah, right now see remove counter and then count zero and increment. Okay, is there? Okay. Like if I increment the values are getting incremented. Okay, that's everything is working fine. Okay, but now like if I click on remove counter. Okay, say if I do click on remove counter, see what happened. Like before the component could unload. Okay, before the component could unload, alert came. Ki counter component unloaded. Okay, basically and then when you click it, see it got unloaded. Okay, so basically this is the hook. Okay, this return whenever you write, so basically this is the hook to basically say that like okay, if the component is about to unload, okay, uh, like basically like whatever call you pass in the return statement, that would get called. Okay, so whatever you pass in this return statement, that would get called. Okay, like whenever and mind you this is the like only when like you're using this array, okay, as a dependency, because I'll talk to you about the reason behind that. But yeah, like if you look at this right now, yeah, component would come, this count component, and if you remove it, see this would say counter component unloaded. Okay, yeah, guys. So this is the unmount phase moreover. Okay, like whatever you write in this return statement, okay, when you use this like dependency array, that is the unmount phase. Okay, for the component. Okay, guys. So I hope you've understood each and every phase like of mounting, updating, and unmounting. So this is the life cycle which by which you can access the unmounting phase of the component. Okay, guys. So now, guys, let's instead of like writing it like this, okay, let's basically what if we write the value as not show counter. Okay, maybe like so basically if we toggle, okay, instead of removing it, we like toggle. Okay, toggle counter or something like that. Okay, like basically toggle counter component. Okay, and instead of like just like making it false, what I'll do is like whenever the user clicks on it, okay, the value of the component changes. Okay, so if you look at it, yeah, so now right now it is initially visible. If I remove it, it gets removed. Okay, and if I again like try, if I again click on this, uh, yeah, one second. Uh, I think so. It would be like this. Okay, not me. It should show up. Remove counter. Counter. Okay. Yeah. See, it starts showing again. Yeah. And see, like it successfully got mounted. Okay. So this is like again mounting. Okay. Like basically you removed it and then you mounted it back. Okay, guys. So that's the beauty of this like writing code like this. Okay. So it kind of got removed. Okay. And then it kind of got mounted again. Yeah, guys. So that's the entire beauty. Okay, like basically mounting, updating, and then unmounting, and then you can mount it again. So this is more like a cycle, okay, which goes on and on in any front end. Okay, so yeah, that's about the life cycle methods, guys. I hope you've understood it. Okay, next would be cleanup. Okay, like I'll talk about that as well. But yeah, I hope you've understood the life cycle methods in React. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.